Honestly, why am I doing this to myself? Hey, welcome to Planet Hex. I'm Andrew Hawnt. This is the second update in the series of updates regarding my 100 movies in 100 days challenge. I've decided that I don't watch enough new films. I often resort back to things I've seen a million times, or just make do with things we're showing the kids. And I thought I need to remedy that, so I decided to watch 100 movies that I hadn't seen before in 100 days. They can be from any era, they can be on any format. And the only rule is I've not seen them before, and I have to watch them in their entirety, and I have to watch 100 of them between the 1st of January and the 11th of April. And yeah, I did the first 10, I showed you the video for that in an earlier episode of Planet Hex. I've done the second 10 now, but it has been a bit of a slog. I have finished another 10 movies, however, there's like another 5 or 6 that I've got like halfway through. So we're going to take a look at this episode at the next 10. So before we do that, let's refresh our minds with the first 10 movies in the 100 movies in 100 days challenge. Here they are. SpiderMan No Way Home. Finally, the local cinema here, the local little indie cinema, which is part of our leisure centre here, has got the movie. It gets films a few weeks later than the big cinemas, and as such can charge less for them. So we're always up for supporting that place. SpiderMan No Way Home, loved it. No spoilers here. I'm not going to give any spoilers for those that haven't seen it yet. It's awesome. It's awesome. However, it's too bloody long, and I maintain that. I know some people are alright with the length of it, and I do understand that it is quite a major movie in both the MCU and the various versions of the Spider-Man franchise. However, at 2 minutes 39, it is about 25 to 30 minutes too long. Stuff just takes a bit too long to get going and to get to where it needs to be. And I really enjoyed it. The kids really enjoyed it. Even my wife enjoyed it, and she doesn't really like superhero movies. And we loved it. It was a really good day out. I'm really pleased that it has done so well. And it will be interesting to see whether or not Spider-Man No Way Home leads to further appearances from Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and if we'll get to see anything else with Gwen Stacy or the previous version of MJ, or indeed the deleted version of MJ played by Shailene Woodley from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. That would be cool. Although she was deleted from the movie, you do see her in one shot, and she's in the trailer as well. Mother Android. Chloe Grace Moretz absolutely knocks it out of the park in this film. It is a bleak sci-fi drama thriller, and it's just excellent. It is a breathtaking piece of filmmaking, beautifully acted by Chloe, who is such a talent. There is a lot more to Chloe Grace Moretz than just Hit Girl and the Carrie remake. She's a very talented person, and she's a delight to watch in Mother Android. That said, it does reach 28 days later levels of bleakness, and quite frankly, the third act felt like being beaten up. Honestly, if you're a parent, do be warned, you will need tissues for the third act. Next up was Clara, a strange little sci-fi themed romance movie involving like an artist and an astronomer, sorry, two very different things, coming together over a shared love of an interesting celestial event that is going on. I found this very beautifully made, very beautifully shot, very well acted, but a bit humorless. It's very flat, very serious. It takes itself a little bit too seriously, and people do have a sense of humour. So the characters do feel like they are missing something, not quite as human as they could be, which is a shame because otherwise it is a beautifully made film. I also watched Tomb Raider, the 2018 reboot of the Tomb Raider franchise, starring Alice Vikander as Lara Croft. Now, I was a big fan of the Angelina Jolie movies. They were great popcorn movies when they came out back in 2001. I think the first one was, I think. They were great popcorn movies. They were good fun. They were entertaining. I wondered if this was going to be more of the same, or if it was going to go the grittier direction as some of the later Tomb Raider games. And it was very much the latter. In fact, at various points, I'd forgotten I was watching a video game movie because it's a really effective, like, survival thriller. As well as there being, you know, a quest and a tomb to raid. They'd have to be, really, wouldn't they? Otherwise the title would be a lie. Guns Akimbo, starring Daniel Radcliffe. We all know who Daniel Radcliffe is, but you didn't really expect to see him in a movie with guns nailed to his hands. This is crazy. It's got kind of a... it feels like a mix between an Edgar Wright movie and a Robert Rodriguez movie. It's bloody, it's gory, it's very funny. The dialogue is oddly cheesy, quite comic booky in places, and it's just delightfully ridiculous. And Daniel Radcliffe is an ideal choice for the lead. He's fantastic in this. He's so fun to watch. Just the expressions, just like when he first wakes up with guns nailed to his hands. You can see all this in the trailer. And his expression is just exactly as it should be. But it does have some interesting things in there as it deals with, like, online trolls and social media being taken to an extreme. This was followed by The Vault. So, The Vault is a thriller starring Freddie Highmore in the lead. And as you guessed, it's about a vault and some ne'er-do-wells, some pirates trying to break into a vault which has a mystery treasure inside it. So, you know, sort of normal stuff. Everyday sort of thing. So it's an impregnable vault that was built 80 years ago. And it has an ingenious puzzle at the heart of it. So this bunch of pirates, they hire Freddie Highmore to become their engineer and figure out these puzzles. It's an entertaining film. It's really good fun. Very well shot, although it does feel a little bit like it's shot sort of like the Dan Brown movies were shot, you know, stuff like the Da Vinci Code and things like that. It has that sort of atmosphere to it. But the puzzle at the heart of it is really interesting, and how the whole thing pans out is really fun. Great little piece of action, thriller, drama stuff going on there. But it is, because of his angelic looks and how sweet the guy looks, Freddie Highmore, it's difficult to take him as a dramatic lead. For me personally, because I think I've seen Charlie and the Chocolate Factory too many times with the kids. I think that's mainly what it is. After that, I watched Ava. This was cool. There's Jessica Chastain in it. It got Colin Farrell in it, John Malkovich. Really interesting, like, assassin movie. And really beautifully acted. Jessica Chastain is excellent, and in the lead as Ava. Really entertaining to watch. John Malkovich is being John Malkovich. Colin Farrell is being Colin Farrell. You can see why they were cast for their particular talents. But they come together really well. The script is solid, and it does peter out a little towards the end. It doesn't quite have the climax that you're expecting, but that's not a bad thing. You know, films should take you by surprise sometimes. But that was fun. That then turned to, I needed a bit of a palate cleanser while watching all these modern movies, and went for The Magnetic Monster from 1953, I believe, which was a great little sci-fi pot boiler. There's the stuff about there's a Cold War edge to it. There's fear of the nuclear bomb. There's fear of another war happening. There's fear of aliens, and there's a little bit of the fear of science that's come back in the last few years with all of this. But that was fun. That was a fun way to pass an hour. Good palate cleanser, I must say. I went on to switched over to Disney Plus and watched Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And that took me by surprise. I really enjoyed that. I wasn't sure how much I was going to like it. I had some of the old Master of Kung Fu comics and Shang-Chi comics back in the day, and they were fun. Wasn't sure how this would be handled, because I do feel like the MCU it's not quite completely lost its way, but it seems to have gone a bit weird post Infinity Saga. But that said, I am enjoying a lot of the content, and Shang-Chi was great. However, what I will say is some of the effects looked a bit unfinished, and it does feel it is a little obvious that some of it was made during lockdown. You can see some shots have been composited where, like crowd scenes and things like that. It's a weird side effect of this era we find ourselves in, where you can tell when a shot has been, assembled after. No pun intended. But it was ultimately quite an entertaining film. Well, a really entertaining film. Really liked it. Awkwafina was cool. I'm a big fan of Awkwafina because of Nora from Queens, and I just think she's cool. And what I will say is that the third act in Shang-Chi and Legend 10 Rings does have Disney all over it. It feels very Disney. It's like it feels like one of the live-action adaptations of a Disney movie, Mulan and Beauty and the Beast and things like that. It has a big uplifting sort of Disney climax. I won't go into it any further than that. I ended this 10 with a film I really wish I hadn't saved for the end of this batch, which was Eternals. It looks beautiful, it looks stunning, and it has a great cast in it, led up by Gemma Chan, who's just cool in everything she does. If you're not familiar with a lot of Gemma Chan's TV work, watch Humans. Humans is awesome, the UK version. But yeah, that was an interesting one because there's lots of build-up with all the flashbacks throughout the movie showing you how powerful the Eternals are, and of course they come together. Now, what happened with the Eternals, what has happened with the Eternals is that it's turned out sort of how Warner's intended the Justice League movie to be. They wanted to introduce a load of characters at once and then have them branch off into solo movies. And it's an approach that didn't work for Warner Brothers, and it hasn't really worked for Marvel. Ultimately, this film, again, is way too long. I think if this had been a good 35 minutes, 40 minutes shorter, it would have been a lot more entertaining, a lot more gripping, and hold the attention for a longer time. As it is, it's very pretty, it's very well cast, it's a sumptuous thing to look at, but it does leave you ultimately unsatisfied because it doesn't really have a great plot. Personally speaking, it doesn't really have a plot that grabs me. It's in The Dark Red and a bunch of others, but I've not finished those yet, so they don't count towards the total. Something that hasn't really helped is that I've been watching the Book of Boba Fett and really wanting to delve into a lot of the Star Wars stuff, but I think I will talk about Boba Fett on another video. For now, that is your update so far in the 100 movies in 100 days challenge. I'm going to follow this with a look at the films so far in order. Oh my god, why am I doing this to myself? Why am I putting myself through this craziness? Well, mainly because I need content. I think that's the reason. But anyway, that's been my update on these next 10 movies in the 100 movies in 100 days challenge. I'm Andrew Hawnt. Thank you very much for watching Planet Hex. See you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and validate my existence.